I just really loved those patchwork like jeans that you have.
Magnolia Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my real life jeans.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. Magnolia Pearl released a plantation line.
Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Kersty Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood and working as an entertainment reporter. So yesterday the news broke that Blake Lively is one of the most influential people in the world. She is on the top 100 list that Time magazine released. I mean, this list used to mean something. It's been going on for many years. If you go back in time, you can actually see some of the people that Time magazine put on this list in the past. For example, Man of the Year from Time magazine in 1938 was Adolf Hitler. And then in 1939, they picked Joseph Stalin, and he also became the Person of the Year in 1942. And no other than Ayatollah Khomeini was the Man of the Year in 1979. This year, Blake Lively is on the list of 100 most influential people. You might wonder who picks these people that are on the list. And apparently that's the editors that work at Time magazine, and they get tips from other people on who they should put on the list. And I think everyone on the list get this article about them, and that's written by someone else. And the person who wrote about Blake Lively is a civil rights activist, Sherilyn Ifill. I had to look at her Instagram to see who she was and who she is, and a lot of other people have gone through her Instagram already. I was reading some of the comments there, and people were really upset with her for giving this prize to Blake Lively. In that little note that she put in Time magazine on the reason why Blake Lively is one of the 100 most influential people, she said that she never watched Gossip Girl and she didn't watch her on the Met Gala. And I'm like, maybe you didn't watch the internet for the last 6 months or the last year, and maybe you should do that before you actually write this article about how amazing Blake Lively is and calling her a titan. A titan is defined by a person of very great strength, intellect, or importance. The funniest thing is that the reason why Blake Lively is on this list is basically because she's a philanthropist, and she gave, I think it was $2 million. There's different numbers everywhere. Somewhere it said only $200,000. But her and Ryan apparently gave a bunch of money to NAACP's Legal Defense and Educational Fund. So this was in 2019, and for some reason they didn't end up on the list because of that back then, but now, 6 years later, they're like, oh yay, we got so much money from you back then. It was interesting because I watched Andy over at Popcorn Planet, and he had someone find out how much Sherilyn actually makes from working at NAACP. And she had like a salary of over $700,000 a year. So I guess the money they gave covered her salary for over 2 years. Another thing that she mentioned in this story about Blake Lively is that she's a risk taker. I guess I could agree with that because it was a huge risk to sue Justin Baldoni, and it was also a risk trying to steal the movie from him. So I guess you could say that she's a risk taker. I also think she's taking a huge risk every time she go out in public these days because it doesn't make her look good, and it's a huge risk for her then to lose her lawsuit, because one of the things that she claims is that she's so traumatized and she's just staying at home and being sad and depressed, and her family is traumatized, and her children and her husband and everyone around them. So yeah, I think that's taking a risk. Of course, Blake Lively responded, thanking for the honor, and she's like so grateful. And she said, I'm able to see this moment almost looking back from the future or looking ahead from childhood. And from every time period, I could see how profound this is to me. Of course, a lot of people pointed out that the reason why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds gave all this money in 2019 to NAACP because they received a lot of backlash from their plantation wedding. And I've seen so many people do a lot of research on this plantation wedding, and it was really held on a plantation. For some reason, it didn't get that much attention back then, but Ryan Reynolds has come out several times and apologized for it. And I think definitely that's the reason why they gave this money away. And another thing is that they have so much money. So giving away $2 million is like pocket money for them. It's nothing. And it's deductible on their taxes, remember. And do you guys remember that video that came out where Blake Lively had her feet up on this ottoman it looked like it was a black man that was her ottoman, but apparently it was a white guy and they just darkened his skin so he actually looked like a black guy. But also another thing that we've seen pop up from Blake's past where she has disrespected other people. Blake also commented, it was actually in an interview with Jenny Slate she did for It Ends With Us, when they talked about her jeans with flowers on them. They're so amazing.
I just really loved those patchwork like jeans that you have.
Magnolia Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my real life jeans.
Yeah.
Blake was like, oh, they're from Magnolia Pearl, which is a very controversial fashion brand. From the people I've seen that's done research on this brand, it's called the Plantation fashion brand.
I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. Magnolia Pearl released a plantation line. They don't have any black friends who may have told them, you should probably take this plantation video down.
It's super expensive as well, horrible clothing. And it's another proof that Blake Lively, first of all, doesn't have any sense of fashion, and she would wear plantation fashion. Some people have also been speculating if Blake Lively did a Ryan Reynolds in London when she had people signing autographs outside the theater or in back of the theater. It was during this Another Simple Favor premiere, and she smiled and stopped and signed all these photographs of Lady Pool, all shiny new photographs. I don't know where they came from. If someone was on the street saying, hey, do you want this picture? And you can go over there and get her signature on it, and then you maybe can sell it on eBay and make $25. It was interesting that they all had the same photo, and they all had a photo of Lady Pool, and as we know, Blake Lively did never wear that Lady Pool suit. So this is the stunt woman who pretended to be Blake Lively in the Deadpool movie, and she's signing it, smiling for another movie she is promoting. I can't remember seeing Blake Lively doing this before this whole thing happened, that she ever took time to actually go up and talk to fans and sign posters and stuff like that. She was always in a rush, getting away from everyone. So this is a new Blake Lively.
Hi Mom, hi Chris. Chris, we've got your mom, we've got Chris M.
Chris MD.
Chris MD.
So I keep getting all these videos of Brendan Sklenar in my feed on Instagram. He's in a movie called Drop with Megan Fye. Maybe you remember her from the last White Lotus season 2. That was, yes, she was in it. She was great in it. And now they are promoting this new movie together, and they're everywhere together. And the way they're acting together, I was like, these two have good chemistry. And some of these videos that they have posted on Instagram, I was thinking, like I said to Magnus yesterday, I'm like, if you were out promoting something and you were like that with another woman, I wouldn't feel great about it. It's not like they're acting, they're actually promoting something, and it's very touchy-feely. And I don't think there was an intimacy coordinator there. Anyways, both of them have partners on each side. Megan Fye is dating actor Leo Woodall. I think they've been together for like a year. And Brandon's girlfriend is called Courtney Salviolo. She's a wellness coach. She's very private. She has a private Instagram account, but she did show up at the It Ends With Us premiere, and she did take a photo with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Anyways, I don't know what you think, but these photos to me look like they're more than just friends. I don't know. Recently, Brandon Sklenar was also called Walmart's Glenn Powell, which I thought was funny. He even reacted to it in a comment and he said, "Who doesn't like a bargain?" But now it seems like you can get an even bigger bargain, because I went into his Instagram and I was looking at some of the comments there, and now the new nickname for Brandon Sklenar is Timu Thor. I don't know if you all are familiar with Timu, but it's a lot cheaper than Walmart, to put it that way. So a lot of the comments were using that term about Brendan Sklenar. So I think people have not forgiven him at all since what he did to Justin Baldoni, and of course just supported Blake Lively blindly, and then was such a coward about it afterwards. Some good news here is that Amy Lou Wood received flowers from Sarah Sherman from SNL. I reported on this a couple of times already because I think she's so adorable, and she got so sad when SNL made a joke about her, and there were videos of her crying, and she went to Instagram and said this was not funny, and it really hurt her feelings. So now Sarah Sherman has reached out to her and sent her flowers. Now I feel really bad for Sarah Sherman, because it must be awful for her to try and be funny about something, and I'm sure she didn't write that joke herself. She just acted in it, and now she feels so guilty because she feels like she bullied someone, and that must be awful. So I'm glad she sent flowers, and I hope she's okay too, because it's such a horrible feeling to have done something, even though you didn't mean any harm. It's just awful to hurt someone's feelings like that. Anyways, that's it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope I see you in my next one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.